Stop. Before you chase success, money, or power, ask yourself one brutal question. Are you ready to see the world without its masks? To open your eyes to a truth so raw it burns everything you once believed in? People cling to illusions because reality is merciless. But once you dare to face it, there's no turning back. When the veil falls, innocence dies, and awareness begins.
They told you to be kind, to forgive, to stay humble. But Machiavelli whispers from the shadows, kindness is currency. Spend it only when it buys you power. In a world ruled by manipulation, virtue is a disguise, and morality a weapon used by those who know how to fake it best. The wicked don't fear the good, they use them. And those who can't master the art of intelligent cruelty become victims of their own purity. Look around you. Nothing is fair. Life is not a moral stage. It's a chessboard. Emotions are weapons, and ignorance is death. A smile can be betrayal. A tear can be manipulation, and silence can be strategy. The weak seek approval. The strong seek advantage. But the dangerously smart? They don't seek. They observe. They read intentions like battle maps and strike only when victory is inevitable. These lessons are not for the kind-hearted. They are for those who are done being victims, for those who realize that innocence doesn't protect, it enslaves. The world runs on cunning, not compassion, and those who refuse to adapt will forever kneel to those who do. When you see that kindness without wisdom is weakness, that silence can be a weapon, and that knowledge can burn every illusion of power, you begin to break the chains of fear, of obedience, of blind faith in fairness. Only then you become untouchable. Open your mind. What comes next is not guidance, it's transformation. 8 ruthless lessons forged in the mind of Machiavelli himself, each one sharp enough to wound your illusions, each one powerful enough to rebuild your mind. These are not lessons for peace or morality. They are lessons for control, for dominance, for understanding the hidden machinery of human nature. Because once you grasp how the world truly works, you stop being a player and become the one who writes the rules. Lesson 1: never reveal your intentions. Power begins in silence. The moment you tell the world what you're going to do, you give it the power to stop you. Most people rush to explain themselves, to prove their purity of motive, and that's why they fail. Because every word you reveal is a piece of your armor removed. Those who know your plans can shape them. Those who understand your desires can use them. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The greatest minds play behind curtains, not in the spotlight. To move in silence is to move freely, unseen, unchallenged, unstoppable. Humans are addicted to patterns. When they can't predict you, they fear you. When they can't understand you, they respect you. Mystery is power. It bends people's behavior without a single command. That's why rulers, leaders, and manipulators wear masks, not to hide, but to control perception. Once your mind becomes unreadable, your influence becomes inevitable. Because uncertainty makes others cautious, and caution is the first sign that you've already won. Never waste your truth on those who haven't earned your silence. Every intention you expose becomes a weapon that can be turned against you. The wise speak in riddles. They hide purpose behind distraction, a smile, a gesture, a harmless phrase. Even when you tell the truth,
Wrap it in fog. Let your enemies doubt whether what you said was real or calculated. Because in the battlefield of minds, confusion is the deadliest strategy. If people can't read your game, they can't stop your move. The Machiavellian doesn't lie for pleasure. He lies for purpose. He misleads not to harm, but to maintain control. Deception is not dishonor, it's design. To reveal your real aim is to invite resistance. To disguise it is to let your power grow quietly, like poison in a cup, unseen but fatal. The lion rules through fear, but the fox rules through illusion. And the one who masters both rules the world. The most dangerous person is the one whose motives you can't trace. He smiles without revealing allegiance, acts without explanation, wins without warning. He doesn't announce his victories, he lets them speak for him. That's what it means to be Machiavellian, to move like smoke, to strike like shadow, to live in control of your silence while the world drowns in noise. So when they ask, "What are you planning?" you smile, because your answer doesn't belong to them. It belongs to your destiny.
Lesson 2. Always appear weaker than you are. Power doesn't come from strength. It comes from the illusion of weakness. The moment people believe you are harmless, they lower their guard, and that's when you see who they truly are. Machiavelli understood this game better than anyone. He knew that when you appear weak, people reveal their arrogance, their secrets, and their plans. Because only when the lion pretends to be a lamb do the wolves get close enough to be destroyed.
Power is not about domination. It's about perception. The most dangerous form of strength is invisible. When you act strong, people defend themselves. When you act weak, they expose themselves. By showing restraint, you feed their illusion of superiority. And once they believe they're above you, they stop watching you. That's when you strike. Because control is not about force, it's about timing. Deception is not lying, it's performance. Every king who survived long enough to rule knew this truth. You must wear masks not to hide who you are, but to survive what others want to make of you. Let them think you're simple. Let them think you're harmless, because a blade hidden in silk cuts deepest. The greatest predators never roar before they kill. There's no greater trap than letting your enemy believe he's winning. Let him taste superiority. Feed his pride. Let him drown in it. The more he believes you are beneath him, the less he prepares for your rise. And when the moment comes, his arrogance will blind him completely. That's how empires fall, not from power, but from overconfidence. A true Machiavellian never needs to fight to win. He lets the other side destroy itself. To appear weak is not to be weak. It's strategy. It's knowing that power shines brightest when it's unseen. Let others fight for visibility while you build in silence. Let them underestimate you. Their ignorance is your camouflage. And when the time is right, reveal yourself not as the servant they pitied, but as the force they never saw coming. That's how the invisible become unstoppable. That's how the powerless become kings. Lesson 3. Master the art of timing. Most people destroy themselves not through weakness, but through haste. They rush to act, rush to speak, rush to win, because they fear time more than failure. But time is not your enemy. It's your weapon. The Machiavellian knows that every action has a perfect moment, and that striking too early is no different than losing. Those who act before the world is ready end up forgotten. Those who wait until the world bends toward them rule it. Power doesn't always move. Sometimes it waits. While others panic and react, the strategist studies. He watches patterns, emotions, and storms of chaos, never rushing, never revealing what he knows. Because stillness confuses the impulsive. They mistake your silence for weakness, not realizing you are watching their every move. When everyone is running, the man who stands still sees the whole field. Patience isn't passive, it's precision. Every victory belongs to the one who waits for the right second to strike. Too soon, and the world resists you. Too late, an opportunity rots in your hands. Timing is the invisible balance between chaos and destiny. You must learn to feel it, like a hunter who senses when the prey exhales. The world reveals its rhythm to those who listen carefully, and those who master that rhythm can bend fate itself. Impatience is the favorite weakness of fools. The ambitious rush forward with noise, demanding attention, and in their noise, they expose their plans. Let them talk, let them run, let them burn their own time. The calm mind always outlives the restless one. Machiavelli knew, if you wait long enough, your enemies will eventually show you how to defeat them. Their speed becomes your advantage. Their chaos becomes your clarity. Mastering time is mastering life itself. When you control when to act, when to speak, when to disappear, you become untouchable. Because time obeys no one except those who understand its rhythm. To rule, you must live between seconds, not as a slave to opportunity, but as its architect. So, slow down. Let the world move while you remain still. For the one who commands patience commands everything. Reality is fragile. It bends easily under the weight of belief. Most people don't see the world as it is. They see it as they feel it. That is why truth alone holds no power, but perception can move armies. Machiavelli understood that humans are emotional creatures who worship appearances more than facts. If you control how they see you, you control how they treat you. Truth without perception is invisible, but illusion with confidence becomes reality. Power is theater, and everyone is an actor. Those who deny it become puppets in someone else's play. The greatest leaders, rulers, and manipulators understand that appearances are weapons. You don't need to be powerful. You only need to look powerful. The crowd doesn't seek truth, it seeks comfort, a story to believe in. So give them a story that serves you. Rule their imagination, and their loyalty will follow. Because humans would rather follow a confident liar than a hesitant truth-teller. Your reputation is more valuable than your reality. Guard it, shape it, and weaponize it. Let others argue about what's true. You decide what's believed. A single rumor can destroy a man faster than 100 truths can save him. That's why the Machiavellian plays with perception like a sculptor with clay. He molds opinion, crafts image, and disappears behind his creation. He doesn't defend his name, he defines it. Never show all that you are. Power that's visible invites resistance, but power that hides behind humility is unstoppable. Appear ordinary, even foolish, while your mind calculates every detail. Let others underestimate you. It keeps them predictable. Because when people believe they understand you, they stop paying attention. And when they stop paying attention, you become invisible. And invisibility is the ultimate freedom. Reality is what people agree it is, and agreement can be engineered. When you master perception, truth becomes irrelevant. You can turn weakness into virtue, failure into strategy, and lies into destiny. Because the world doesn't reward the honest, it rewards the convincing. Control what they see, guide what they believe, and watch as reality bends to your story. That's not deceit, that's mastery.
Lesson 5. Keep others dependent on you. Power isn't built on strength, it's built on need. The one who controls what others cannot live without becomes irreplaceable. That's why kings weren't feared for their crowns, but for their control over the bread, the army, and the faith. Dependence is invisible slavery, and most people wear their chains proudly. To be truly powerful, you must make others need you so deeply that they cannot move, think, or survive without your presence. That is the foundation of every empire and every relationship.
The most dangerous trap is disguised as generosity. When you help someone, do it in a way that keeps them attached to your hand. Let them taste comfort, but never control. The goal is not to enslave the body, it's to own the mind. A favor given is a chain forged. And every time they come back to you for help, they tighten that chain themselves. Never give fully. Give just enough for them to need more. That is how you feed dependence without showing domination.
People are not loyal to you. They're loyal to what they get from you. Machiavelli knew this well. Loyalty built on gratitude fades, but loyalty built on necessity lasts forever. So, make yourself the bridge they cannot cross without. Be the source of their security, their validation, their success. The moment they stop needing you, they start questioning you. Therefore, never give them the full key to independence. A dependent ally is safer than an equal friend. Control doesn't always feel like control. It feels like safety. Make people feel protected, and they'll never realize they've been captured. Whisper guidance as if it were care. Offer advice as if it were love. And while they lean on you for direction, their will dissolves quietly into yours. That's how manipulation becomes dependence, and dependence becomes devotion. The greatest ruler doesn't command through fear, he commands through need. He doesn't shout, he whispers. He doesn't chain bodies, he binds minds. The ones who depend on him will defend him, even against truth itself, because their survival is tied to his existence. That is the essence of Machiavellian power, to create a world where your absence is chaos and your presence inevitable. Lesson 6. Crush your enemies completely. Half measures are the luxury of the naive. A wound left unclosed festers. An enemy half defeated is a threat reborn. Machiavelli understood that mercy without calculation breeds future danger. When you confront opposition, do not aim merely to bruise, aim to remove the possibility of revenge. Power tolerates no unfinished business. Decisive action creates certainty. Hesitation creates embers that one day become fire. If you permit a rival to live with resources, allies, or pride intact, you have planted the seed of your own undoing. To neutralize a threat is not to humiliate only, it is to dismantle capability. Strip influence, sever funding, cut lines of communication, remove the instruments that allow resistance.
The aim is systematic. Make retaliation impossible, not merely embarrassing. Rulers who understood this created institutions and laws that outlasted personal vendettas. They removed power structurally, so the future could not resurrect the past. A broken sword can still be reforged. An erased armory stays silent. When you remove the means, you remove the threat.
Men rally around symbols. Destroy the symbol, and the army disperses. Reputation is the invisible army that fights for your foe. Ruin it, and their followers scatter like leaves. Storytelling, law, and spectacle are tools. Discredit their narrative, reveal their contradictions, make allies doubt them publicly. When people believe a leader is finished, they stop supporting him, even if the man himself remains. Social death precedes political death. Use information, theater, and consistency to bury the myth. Once the myth is gone, resistance is merely noise.
Violence is blunt. Institutions are surgical. The wise convert personal victories into systemic safeguards. Laws, contracts, alliances, and bureaucracies that lock in advantage. Harness judges, records, markets, and networks so that your victory is codified and routable by process, not personality. When the system enforces your dominance, personal grudges cool into administrative facts. That is how empires endure, not by constant force, but by building a machine that perpetuates the result of a single decisive moment.
Once a foe is irreversibly neutralized, mercy becomes a tool, not kindness. Offer a public pardon, a title without power, or exile with honor. These are spectacles that seal obedience and erase grievance. Used cleverly, mercy rewrites the story. The vanquished becomes symbolic evidence of your clemency. The people forgive what they once feared. But this mercy is conditional and staged, a final instrument that ensures peace by making opponents harmless and grateful. Power that ends conflict cleanly makes history bend towards stability. That is the true cruelty of a master. He destroys the possibility of defiance, then remakes the world so it forgets it was ever threatened.
Lesson 7. Work on people, not on problems. The greatest mistake of the intelligent is believing that problems exist in isolation. They don't. Every obstacle, every failure, every crisis hides a person behind it. And that person holds the key to its solution or its survival. Machiavelli knew, you don't fix problems, you fix people. For behind every policy is a will. Behind every system is an ego. Behind every why is someone's want. If you can read that want, you control the outcome.
People are not logical. They are emotional machines that use logic to justify feeling. If you want to move them, don't argue, align. Find what they fear, what they crave, what they dream of when they're alone. Touch that wire and they'll move mountains for you. The Machiavellian doesn't fight resistance, he redirects it. He whispers to ambition, feeds pride, flatters insecurity. And in doing so, he shapes decisions without giving a single order. He becomes the invisible architect of choice.
The world runs on emotion, anger, desire, guilt, and hope. Those who ignore this truth become victims of it. Those who understand it become masters. To change a situation, don't fix the mechanics, manipulate the mood. Make the angry feel heard, the proud feel seen, the afraid feel safe. A single emotional adjustment can move more than 1,000 arguments.
You can't rebuild reality, but you can rewrite how it feels. And when you control feelings, logic obeys you.
Every structure, government, company, army, or family, is just a web of personalities pretending to be order. If you want to change the web, don't cut the threads, pull them. Make the ambitious compete, the lazy depend, the fearful obey. The Machiavellian moves people like pieces on a board, not by shouting commands, but by rearranging incentives. He doesn't destroy systems, he outgrows them. Because real change begins not in the rules, but in the minds that follow them.
In the end, every power struggle, every reform, every revolution comes down to one timeless fact. People are the true battlefield. The wise don't waste time arguing with reality. They study the people who shape it, work on their fears, their pride, their love, their shame, and the problems will crumble on their own. To rule, you must think beyond systems and strategies. You must think like a sculptor, carving the minds that will build your empire for you.
Lesson 8. Turn every defeat into power. Defeat is not the opposite of power. It is its raw material. Most people crumble when they fall because they mistake pain for punishment. But Machiavelli understood that every downfall hides a lesson that the victorious never learn. When the world humiliates you, it gives you a map of how it works. When you are broken, you finally see what can't be broken. Defeat reveals truths that victory blinds you from. The wise don't escape their losses, they mine them. And from the ruins, they build something indestructible.
Failure strips away illusion. It shows you who you are without applause, without power, without allies. In that silence, you meet your real self, the part that no victory could ever introduce you to. Most flee from that reflection, but the Machiavellian studies it. He dissects it, questions it, and rebuilds himself from it. He understands that the mirror of failure doesn't show weakness, it shows unfinished strength. Every scar becomes a reminder, you've already survived worse.
Survival itself is a weapon. Those who endure long enough always outlast the proud. The Machiavellian never sees defeat as the end, only as a disguise. He pretends to retreat to study the terrain, to watch his enemies celebrate too soon. He uses humiliation as camouflage, failure as information. He knows that patience turns weakness into strategy. Because when others think you're finished, they stop guarding against your return. Every wound holds leverage if you know how to use it. Turn guilt into empathy, fear into awareness, betrayal into foresight. Show the world that what tried to destroy you became your discipline. Pain refines purpose. It strips away vanity and leaves only focus. And when your enemies see you rise stronger from their blows, you teach them the most terrifying lesson of all. You cannot be broken. Power is not the absence of defeat, it's mastery over it. To be Machiavellian is to turn every loss into fuel, every scar into strategy, every failure into prophecy. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? You stop reacting and start designing. The world no longer happens to you, it happens for you. And when you reach that point, nothing external can touch your internal empire, because every fall has already been transformed into your throne. The Machiavellian mind. They told you to be good, to be honest, to play fair. And you believed them until the world showed you that goodness without power is just decoration. But through the shadows, a different voice spoke.
a colder voice, a wiser voice. It whispered, "Power is not taken, it is built, piece by piece, lesson by lesson." And now you've heard them all. Lesson 1. Never reveal your intentions. Silence is not emptiness, it's control. Lesson 2. Always appear weaker than you are. Camouflage is the true armor of power. Lesson 3. Master the art of timing. Because those who wait for the perfect moment own it. Lesson 4. Control perception, not reality. Reality bends for those who command belief. Lesson 5. Keep others dependent on you. Chains made of gratitude are stronger than iron.
Lesson 6. Crush your enemies completely, because mercy without finality is an invitation to rebellion. Lesson 7. Work on people, not on problems. You cannot move systems without first moving souls. Lesson 8. Turn every defeat into power. Every scar, every loss, every humiliation. They are not weights. They are weapons sharpened by suffering.
You have crossed through the fire of manipulation, the mirror of deceit, the silence of patience, and the art of control. You've seen that power is not evil. It's just truth, stripped of illusion. And those who dare to see the world as it is, rule those who live by what they wish it to be. So now, remember this. You don't have to dominate to be powerful. You just have to understand. Because the one who understands never loses. He bends, waits, transforms, until even fate itself obeys his patience. And that is the true mind of Machiavelli.